I'm involved in brawls, I start glowing. Your broads are like where you're going. What you're holding ain't the cards showing. What's the brouhaha? What's the brouhaha? I gotta go, stop your moaning. Gotta push up more weight than Hogan. Won't stop till I'm on late with Conan. What's the brouhaha?
What's up, guys? Here's part 2. Let's get back into this video and see what Myron and Crowder have to say about monogamy.
And women have no reason to really sit there and submit to you and do what they're supposed to do because they're incentivized to not.
Yeah.
Well, let me ask you this. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, do you think, so I think you're right. We have identified kind of one of the problems in society.
Dry skin in your...
Is that what it is?
No, it's gone.
All right, thanks. Appreciate that. Yeah, well, I went like this. I scratched my nose right before we went on the show. Yeah, exactly.
Nose king.
Do you think, though, that there is a way to incentivize guys to only just look for the right women? And eventually this problem goes away because women won't be able to find any guys because they're not looking for women that are sleeping around. They're actually looking for people that have some character and some, I don't know, the qualities in women that we've always looked for. So instead of incentivize, like saying, hey, go out and sleep with 50 so you understand them, just say, just don't play their game. Just find virtuous women, and therefore we will get rid of this problem by doing that.
The only problem with that is that, so when women run game, what they do is when they find a guy that they like, they'll sell purity. And we all know, like, we sell success.
I've seen those stories, yes.
So like my thing is like, and this is another reason why.
Right, what about an app, a purity app? Follow me here. No, I'm just kidding.
You could ask some questions to it, and then I can.
Dating a water filter? What is that?
But yeah, like the thing is, guys need to be able to identify when girls are lying to them and they're selling purity. And this is why I tell guys, actually, like, date a girl for 6 months to a year before you ever like claim her and make her your actual girlfriend and actually getting serious, because you need time to see where she stands in her characteristics. And then another thing I tell guys is, like, see if she does acts of service. Like, will she do things for you? And because a good woman is going to come in, see parts of things that you're doing that could be optimized. Like, for example, let's say you like coffee, right? But she shows up at your house, you don't have a good coffee machine. She just takes the initiative and buys you one, right? Yeah. Or she has a cup always ready for you when you wake up. Little things like that, and you don't even have to tell her. Like, that's a really good sign, because now she's becoming like almost, I always say men need to be problem solvers in the real world. Women need to be problem solvers in a household with the guy and making them better, so that they don't have to think about the little things, so they can go focus on the big things. That's where I think a woman is best. And people get mad at me when I say, oh yeah, she needs to basically be your assistant. But I truly do think, like, women thrive in that assistance role, because it puts you as the masculine leader and the dominant figure. It puts her as the subservient, which is what they want anyway. And she's helping you become better. And I think that's like the best way it can go. But guys won't be able to identify these types of women or be able to figure this out until they date them for a good amount of time and see where she stands with these types of things.
Do you think, because you said women's nature, and again, we would agree on the descriptions, maybe not the prescriptions. Well, sure. I still think.
So a few things about that. And this is where I'm seeing that in the field, a lot of this stuff is like bad martial arts. And this martial arts kind of got you to a decent place, because, you know, everything he's saying isn't wrong. It's not wrong. It's just not complete. Now, with what I've come to realize is that when you're out here in the actual field, I've been married, I have a baby mama, I've been in long-term relationships, obviously I've been in a ton of short-term things, situations, etc. And what he's talking about, and this is why the red pill needs a little bit of an update, it needs a little bit of refinement, is what he's talking about is a side chick, really. I'll tell you why. When you're out here and you have a chick who's doing acts of service, chicks will buy you things. They will pay for dinner. They'll buy you things. They'll bring you food. They'll bring you steaks. They'll bring you gyros, pizza. They'll tell you that we can save. They'll tell you, oh, we'll save money if we go to this restaurant, if we go to this, or if we go to that restaurant. They'll even cover it sometimes, etc., etc. And they'll do other things. They'll help you organize your home. They'll help you clean, etc. None of those things still mean that that's your chick. It's still not your bitch. It's not your bitch because she's outside. And that's what no one talks about. A chick can do all those things for multiple guys. Some chicks are just like that, especially if they come from a certain culture or environment. If she's from Africa, if she's from Eastern Europe, if she's from South America, etc., or some conservative Asian country or whatever it is, it really doesn't matter. But women do acts of service for multiple guys. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I've seen it. So It's good. It's better than nothing. It's better than like having a, when a chick is outside, there's a spectrum. There's a spectrum of the chicks who are compliant and who are helpful and who don't drain you. And there's the other side of the spectrum of the chicks who do the opposite, who are the sex workers, who are the obnoxious chicks, corrosive, parasitic, etc. Take. So that's the spectrum of chicks that are out there. And yeah, it's nice if she does all those things, and you should vet for those things. But like I said previously in part one, none of these chicks are your chick, because the real standard, and people will claim it's unrealistic, but the real standard is family. That's the real determiner of whether or not a chick is your chick or not. Is family. It doesn't take vetting for a year and all this stuff. You know what I mean? Like, you need to date her for a year or vet her for a year. And like I said previously, there should be no dating. Like, no dating and no paying with outside chicks. The only chick that you can date is your legitimate wife, is your real wife. And your real wife, you'll know because her family, you're vetting her family. The way it looks is you're getting to know her family. So her father, her brothers, etc., especially her father, and her relationship with them. How she takes care of them is how she'll take care of you, and her composure outside and inside the home. And every time she's outside of the home, she's with her family. She's not by herself. So if she's going to school, it's locally or it's remotely. And it's a decent school. It's not a wayward public school where they mix boys and girls and everyone. I mean, listen, man, public schools are just a grooming place for both boys and girls, but especially for girls. And that's the problem out here. Fathers don't understand what's really happening, or they forget, or they've come to see it as normal. We grew up with it. We grew up with Friends, with TV shows, with Martin, Friends, Seinfeld, etc. We grew up with this idea that it's okay for chicks to be outside by themselves with no family, and to be running around and getting in different relationships with different guys. And then somehow at the end of that, some guy is supposed to come along and marry her, and that's her true love, etc., etc. That's all bullshit. That's all shitty martial arts. That's all bad martial arts, where your sensei, your sifu, your sensei, your teacher, etc., taught you some bullshit, and you went outside and you keep doing this bullshit, and you keep coming home with broken bones, black eyes, etc., etc. It just doesn't work. Your martial arts is a joke. Your karate is a joke. If you really want some real martial arts, some shit that'll really work, some MMA, you should understand that that's not your bitch. Everything he's saying, it's okay to vet that when you're observing her interacting with her family. That's when you pay attention to if she is attentive, if she's not disruptive, etc. And if she's just like a normal person, basically. If she's just healthy. That's all. Is she healthy? Does she want to see her household succeed? Because when chicks are outside, it's no good for anybody. It's no good for society even. And listen, just to be clear, I'm not saying that 100% of chicks need to be home, or women need to be home. Ladies, women, etc. need to be home. I'm saying that what we have now is not sustainable. It's not sustainable. What we have now is like damn near 100% of women that are outside that shouldn't be, versus something healthier along the lines of even 50-50 would be nice right now. But I think a healthy society optimally would have, 75, 80, 85, 90% of marriageable women, or at least 50%. I'll take 50%. But right now is you have to go far and wide. If I wanted to get married right now, I would be in Panama or some South American country, not Colombia, maybe the countryside in Colombia or something similar, or even parts of Africa, like a Seychelles or Mauritius or any developed area in Africa or in the world, like Philippines, etc., etc. Anywhere where there may be decent women left, but not in cities. There's no city in the world that has a female that you can marry. And also, you have to be wary of the chick in the country that comes to the city, chicks from the rural area that come to the city and they do their shenanigans. So it's not as simple as just finding a chick in the country even. So you really have to hyper focus on the family. It's a game of families, and use your imagination, use your savvy. You've been out there, you've been to different areas and different countries and different states, etc. Listen, this all comes down to your judgment. And once you've been knocked around a few times, you've been married, you have a kid, you have a baby mama, etc., that gives you more information. It gives you more experience. So I have a better idea if I ever do get married again. I have a better idea of what it would look like and how it would go. And because now I know it's all about family. It's all about family. Her father, her brothers, her uncles, etc. It's all about that, bro. Because once that's strong, once those roots are strong, I'm getting flashbacks to Karate Kid from the 80s. But it's true. There's a lot of truth in that film. There's a lot of truth in that film abstractly. So once you have strong roots, a strong foundation, her family, it's a game of families, especially it's a game of fathers, not a matriarchy, not a bunch of aunties and mamas and no. If you encounter a chick with a bunch of aunties, I guarantee you she's not going to be an inside chick. She's going to be an outside chick anyway, because women are permissive. That's just the bottom line. Women are permissive. And this goes deeper. It goes deeper into voting and contemplating reversing voting rights for women. Men should greatly consider, and by greatly consider, I mean do it. Men should remove the vote from women. I mean, it's never going to end well. I'm not saying that there aren't some smart women out there, and I'm not saying that there are not some women who can thrive in the commercial sectors, in the markets, in a certain job, or even CEO, or she can run her own business. Fine, because an individual that runs their business, it doesn't affect anybody else in that way. It's not life and death necessarily. Whereas positions of consequence like public office, where people's lives are at stake, she could send your son to die, but she's afraid to walk down the street by herself, or she's afraid to get in an elevator with a random guy or with a group of guys. So we should really reconsider, because this is a male issue. And listen, to layman ears, this may sound, you know how they are, this may be hateful or whatever nonsense. And even that is nuts. The fact that you can't stand on your own 2 feet and debate someone or face someone or confront someone's views without turning to ad hominem and shame. And they'll never address the actual merits and the foundation and the substance of what's being said, of what I'm actually saying or what's being said. They'll never address that. They'll always turn to shaming and emotional, to the internal, because women don't have the external. That's a man's domain. Men own the external world. Now, people mistakenly call it the patriarchy, and they come up with these boogeyman outlook on life where the patriarchy is the boogeyman, but in reality, it's just nature. Women's biggest quarrel is with nature. They hate nature. That's why they support permissive policies like exposing kids to things they shouldn't be exposing kids to, open borders, or women being wayward or being overweight and unhealthy. And of course, the big one, abortion. I mean, listen, I'm not so politically charged, but I'll tell you broadly, the more time goes on is the more I realize that the future is gonna look at us as the next Nazis. All people, liberals, conservatives, etc. Because on our watch, and I mean men, because listen, a female can't do anything without men allowing for it, without men allowing for it and permitting it. So the future will not look kindly on men of the last 50 to 100 years. They're just not, especially after 1970, because that's when Roe versus Wade, that's when abortion was enacted, was in the 1970s. And the result of that is 60 million abortions in this country alone, not to mention worldwide. This is your legacy. Slavery, Holocaust, atrocities, all the atrocities. And now add to that pile 60 million. 60 million. And listen, I know that it's the guys who got them pregnant and some of the guys who even advocated for them to get the abortion. I get it. So like I said, it's a male issue, which spills into a outside chick issue. We have an outside chick issue in the West and in this country. And this era, this time might be lost, meaning you may never find a decent lady to have a family with or to have your real family with. It might be too late for that, but at least for any sane individuals, especially for any sane men who hear this message, I feel like Jor-El or like Obi-Wan Kenobi. For any sane person who hears this message, you should know that in the future, you still have a chance. But we need a return of fathers, of real fathers. A man who's not afraid to disown his kids. A man who's not afraid to get a DNA test on all your kids. It doesn't matter, even if she's a good girl and you met a good family. They shouldn't be offended by you getting a DNA test on all your kids, even if she's a good girl who stays with her family. Because things happen out here, brother. I'm telling you. Things happen out here. I'm telling you. So you just have to have an imagination, be savvy, be vigilant, and understand that this is it. This is the main event. And you have to be ready and understand the real landscape. Everything he mentioned is all right, but if you want some octane and if you want some get really into the foundation, there's no chick who's outside who'll ever be your real chick. Your real chick is a chick that no man can get to. It's a chick that is with her family. You have to go through barriers of her family if you want to even interact with her. And there's no such thing as dating. There's no such thing as dating. Dating is for your wife. It's for your real wife, not your shadow wife, not your fake wife, not your illegitimate wife. That's what most guys have. Most guys right now, your wife, most like 90% of you guys, like 95% of you guys, unless you're Amish or devout or you're Orthodox, unless you're like Orthodox Jewish, Orthodox Muslim, Orthodox, whatever, Amish or Mormon, whatever the case is, unless you have a community of family and your real wife is with her family all the time without complaining, she's not pining to leave, she actually wants to be there willingly, and she knows about the world, she's fully educated, she might even work in the family business, she might make more money than her husband. But regardless of all of that, she willingly, ecstatically chooses to be with her family constantly and not compromise her reputation and her well-being. So this is your real wife. And it's okay if in this landscape, in this generation, in this landscape, in this era, in this time, it's okay if you never find that. We all don't get to have what our grandparents had and our grandfathers. And that's both good and bad. Because there's some things that, especially if you're African American, yes, there's some things you don't want that your great grandfather had or your grandfather had. So, but these are the times we're in. We have a lot of good stuff here too. So just be thankful you have your health and your cognition, and be vigilant. The world is sicker and sicker. There's a lot of people around with a lot of power. The mob has a lot of power. These crowds of people, they fall for everything. Droves of men that fall for tears. They fall for everything women express and say without thinking, without really understanding that you need to take 90% of what chicks say with a massive grain of salt. And I'm talking glacier, a massive grain of salt, where, bro, like, unless you have proof of it, it's just, you'll always be in a good place as a man if you believe nothing she says. Okay. With women, it's all about positioning. It's not about what she says. So understand that, and you'll always be in a good place. And then there's this line, because he's even saying Crowder and his sidekick guy, they have this sort of onus where, oh, you're just using women. And it's like, they're outside. These chicks are outside. So they're not virgins, they're outside. Even if they were virgins, there's nothing, that's her father's job. It's her father's job to find a man who's going to make an honest woman out of her. It's not my job. It's not any random guy's job to marry any of these chicks who are outside without family. And that's just the bottom line. Again, it's a physical game. It's not a game of emotions or internal turmoil or internal ecstasy. Whether your internal state is a net positive or a net negative, whether your internal state is good or bad, healthy or unhealthy, healed or not healed, whether you feel like $1 million or you don't, the physical world is going to continue without you. It doesn't need your approval. It doesn't need your consent. Things will happen with and without you. Nature carries on, life carries on. And so that's what you need to understand when you're out here, man or woman, is that it's a physical game and it's a game of positioning. It's not a game of internal feelings. So they can say what they want. I'm sure my channel will be flagged or whatever, but it is what it is. This is the world we live in. It's a physical world. And so you don't owe anybody anything. So if you interact with a chick that's outside and she goes home with you, if she starts a physical relationship with you or a physical interaction with you, you don't owe her anything. You don't owe her a marriage or children or any of that stuff. And no dating, no paying. Religiously, no dating, no paying. Learn to interact with women without dating or paying. Now, I'll get more into that and deeper into the things that I've come to realize in the next video, because we're not done. And I know like I kind of go off. Like, I'll play a small part and then I'll kind of go off because there's a lot to cover. There's a huge deviation that I've been having from the red pill doctrine because it's incomplete. It's not a fully developed martial art. It was really more of a sort of starting point. And so it's due for an upgrade. It's due for some pressure tested ground level insight, some ground levels, how to look at this fully so that you are fully protected and you understand your full options as a man, because we really have been handcuffed. Even the red pill has gynocentric tendencies, and I'll go into that. And don't forget to like and subscribe and comment, and really comment, because ask me questions and put your take on the things I'm saying, because no one else is saying things like this. There are people who I check out that I've learned a lot from, but no one is really going deeper into this to really flesh out where we need to be as a healthy society, as healthy guys navigating this world and navigating all the lunacy and the waywardness. It's really sad, actually, because we should be in a better place as people. But I'll leave it there for now. I want to continue this conversation because it applies to a lot. There's a lot to cover. So as we ramp up, I want to just establish that we're going to get through it. We're going to figure this out. God isn't cruel. By God, I mean reality, truth, objectivity, the observable world, not an invisible man in the sky, but actual observable reality isn't cruel. God isn't cruel. Bad things happen for sure, and people get misguided. Is unfortunate, and it causes a massive damage, and it's still doing it till this day. It causes massive damage. It's not on the back end like in the past. In the past, all the atrocities were on the back end. It was done to fully born human beings, adults, children, etc. Now all the atrocities happen on the front end, and it's more efficient and more deadly. And the numbers are scaled up and it's more silent. It's a silent atrocity. And we've all been complicit. All of us are guilty. So just understand this and understand that if you love this country and if you want a future, especially men, we have to wake up and we have to be truthful. We have to stop walking around with our heads up our ass and with our heads up these chicks' ass. A lot of guys, you need to get your head out of this chick's ass, bro. And you gotta wake up and you gotta cut the BS. We need to get to a place where we understand what's really happening out here. But more on that later. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Drop your comments down below. I'm really interested in what you have to say, because again, this stuff is not being said like this anywhere else. If it is, let me know. Let me know who else is putting it down like this, and who else is tuning into the reality like this. Because it's not even me. It's not something I created. This is just something where once you really clear your mind and look at the world, it's unavoidable. This is the landscape, and this is what's happening out here. Men and women are two completely different entities. We're just not the same. We're only the same in terms of we bleed and we die. We're flesh and blood and we die, and that's about it. So don't forget to like and subscribe, comment, and if you want to sit down and talk about this on a one-on-one basis, if you want some analysis with anything that's going on in your life, especially as it pertains to your relations with your significant other, with your wife, or etc., or your girlfriend, etc., or who you think is your girlfriend, because again, I don't believe in it. There's no such thing as a girlfriend. All there is family. Is she with her family? If she's with her family, then it may be your potential wife. If she's not, then that's not your bitch. It's not your bitch. It's not your lady. It's not your bitch. It's not your woman. It's not your lady. So if you want to talk about this stuff, if you want a third party to analyze what's happening currently in your relationships, then hit the Venmo, hit the PayPal, and we can schedule an hour, half-hour chunks, hour chunks, etc., and we can get into it. And I'll detail costs, etc., etc. So with that, I guess I'll bid you farewell, and I'll see you on the next one. Have a good one. I'll see you on the next one.